Hey girls and guys and girls. So I'm just having a cosmetic topic about how God got me my home, the house that I currently live in, okay? And it was just how it all came to pass. And just sitting here thinking about it all, it's just like He does create so many miracles, and half the time we don't give Him enough credit and worship and thanks for what He does for us. So I'll start with my story and how it was for a long time. My old address, I had lived there for 7 years. 7 years. And when I first got there, it was like it was something that was supposed to be good, and it was cheap, right? So when I seen the price, I was like, well, that's not so bad. I can get the money together and put for the deposit and the rent and the paper fees and whatnot they needed. And bear in mind, I had moved from my mum's house not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, and each time I had to go back because of all individual situations, right? That's for another time, to be honest. Like, that's a long story. And as you can imagine, I was very tired of having to feel like I was moving out and then free, and then to just be ending up going back to my mom's house, right? And so this was like, yes, I finally found somewhere. Even though it wasn't in the area that I originally wanted, it was still a house and a home that I could actually live in, right? Because everywhere else I had lived in was flats as well. It was just nice to have a house that had an upstairs and a downstairs. So everything seemed all right when I first moved in there. Obviously, I didn't move in 100% straight away because I had just spent all of the money that I had saved on the rent and the deposit, right? So yeah, time went on, and me and my daughter lived there for a little while. Gradually moved in and started to live life there and buckle down, etc., etc. And then, like, a few years down the line, things started to get a little bit how can I even put it? Like, it just started to go downhill because the house started to have mildew, mold and mildew all over the place. Like, it started off in the bathroom in small patches and stuff, and I was like, right, maybe in some of the bathrooms I've seen like a bit of mold that you could use like a bleach spray on there, and then you could get rid of it, right? But then it escalated. Like, this is going to be covered somewhere soon, so you may see a picture or so of what it actually looked like. Ugh, sorry guys, I have wind. But yeah, literally, all that started happening. It started happening in small places under the windows. So I would call the landlord, and he would come out and he would look at it, assess it, tell me he would get somebody out to come and deal with it. In the end, when they came out to deal with it, because I was asthmatic, what spray they ended up using just affected me and made me feel ill. The guy didn't come back to come and finish the job, so that was left and botched also. And then slowly but surely the roofing started to fall down in the bathroom as well. Upstairs in my room, the mold and mildew started to form in my room, started to form in my daughter's room, all over her wall. So then I had started to get sick by then, because obviously with the asthma and the mold and inhaling that all the time, it really didn't help me, and I'm still suffering from that now because uh, you know, it's not been the same ever since, and I'm asking God to help me with that also, with those things, because it's not a funny thing to have asthma and have those things around you. So if you notice those things starting to creep up in any areas of your home, then you need to try and get on top of it as much as you can, right? Then shortly afterwards, a few years down the line, the banister fell off, and I tried to put it back on, but because it never had a board to hold the actual railing, it wouldn't stop in the wall, right? So I told them about all of those repairs and everything, and in the end, I ended up falling down the stairs, right? And breaking my toe. And it's not been the same ever since that either. And yeah, like, long story short, they got away with that anyway. And I just like kind of had enough of the entire situation that by now. And I just prayed and was hoping for better, but I said I wouldn't leave from there because I still had a roof over my head, and I didn't even want anybody else to suffer through what I was going through, right? Sounds a bit stupid, but I really didn't want anyone else to suffer what I was going through in that house. And I just kind of grew accustomed to the fact that I was basically just there, and that was how my life was going to be. I think I kind of felt down on myself at that moment and felt like there wasn't going to be any change. And again, like, some stuff had happened, and a couple of the people came and they was tormenting my family members, right? And they ended up coming nearby mines, and they broke my window. I was on my way into work, and yeah, I got a phone call saying that they had broken my window. So I had to make my way back home and get the police out and get a reference number. By this time, I had been bidding anyway because I had told them about the circumstances in the house, etc. And then I brought the reference numbers up to the housing, right? And then they pushed me up a little bit on the housing list. I can't remember what band it was they put me on, but they pushed me up a little bit. And then a couple of weeks later, like roughly 4 weeks, probably about a month or something later, I had bid on a couple of houses, but I had bid on this one that I'm currently in now, and I never thought anything of it. But somebody was ahead of me when I bid, and I was second. But that's happened to me quite a bit on a lot of houses that I've bid on. So I just thought, by the time I come back, by the end of the week, I'll probably be like fifth or something. But it turns out that I was actually still second. So when it came down to the crunch, the woman phoned me and she said, well, the first person is going to come and view the property. And obviously, if they decide that they want it, then I won't give you a call, etc. And in the end, they said they didn't want it because they couldn't buy it, right? And I was just like, well, not to be pointing out other people's flaws or anything, but clearly you don't need a house then if you feel like you don't want it because you can't buy it. But I knew my circumstances, and I just really, really needed to get out of that house, right? So when she called me and says, can you come and look at it today? I got up straight away, got my stuff on, and came straight here. And she says to me, right, what do you think? I says, well, I like it. It's a bit smaller than the one that I'm in, but I do like it. But then I've got nobody here with me. So just in case there's any issues that I miss, they can like say there's this or there's that. And she was like, well, if there's any issues, we'll come out and we'll come and deal with them, etc., etc. She told me a little bit about the house, and she said to me, well, if you give up this opportunity, will they give you another house? And I says, well, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the first one that I'm actually viewing. So I don't know, like, probably they'd probably say that I'm really not in need of it, and to be honest with you, I am in need of it. So yeah, basically, long story short, the keys were in my hand like 2 days later. Said it was mine, so filled out the paperwork. I went to see her, got the keys, brought my daughter here, and the rest is history. But I just wanted to say that that's how things can work when God says it's time. At the time, I was just like praying and hoping, but still feeling like a little bit like, oh, maybe it's never gonna happen. And I think he just turned around and said, well, that's enough now. It's time for you to get out of this situation. And he decided, right, even if it's a temporary thing, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this house for. To me, it feels like it's just a pit stop. Like, this isn't my main home. This is just somewhere where he felt like I needed to reside for a little while until when I got something else coming my way, that he's got prepared for me. You never know what's next. So I'm just happy that I got out of that situation, and I don't know, I can't explain the happiness that I felt. I was just here. It was like I was on cloud nine all the time, like just happy, away from all of the dramas and stuff that was making me feel unwell and all those kinds of things, and like not dealing with a landlord that didn't want to do repairs, and the place just not feeling like home. And like this feels like a home now to me, and I've done some like decorating and stuff in here, so it's even more homely to me. So it made me feel like I was actually moving forward instead of feeling stuck, and even if I do leave these stuff behind, it will still make me so proud to know that I was capable of doing the stuff that I've done in this home, and that I am capable of doing so much more when I do move into like my permanent home, like what will be mine's and my daughter's. And I feel like, yeah, I've accomplished so much, and I'm going forward now. And I just always lift my hands up now and say thank him for everything that he's given to me. Um, I've given away so much as well, because this place is a lot smaller than my old house, as I said, but it doesn't bother me because I still have so much more. Um, it's just unreal to say, like, you just don't understand how much can be done in such a short time, I was there worrying all that time about being moved, and he had a plan all along, and I say it's all in his plan. Even when I felt like I was doing wrong, or like I wasn't reaching my standards, or like reaching good heights, or doing things in the right way, it was still working towards my better good, towards his goal for my life and where he planned on leading me. And I'm so grateful for that. And there's so much more coming. Like, this is not the end. And people will try and do that to you. They'll try and make you feel like, oh yeah, that's it now. You're not going to make anything of yourself. You're not going to be anything. And those things may stick in your head sometimes, but you have to believe, you have to believe that he has got a bigger plan for you, and there is so much more that he has got planned for you. And it's just having that faith. Like, I've got on my phone, have faith, and I never really understood why I always used to say that to myself, but I put it there, and I'd always look at it and say, have faith. Just have faith. Even when I kind of went off track and ended up, messing with those things that I should never have messed with, even then I still had faith that there was better to come. Even then I still had faith that I would still get the help that was needed. I still had faith that everything that I ever wanted would be mine, and I still have that faith till this day. Like, even if things happen in a bad way, like, I still have faith that there's some good coming. Like, there's always got to be good somewhere along the line. And it's just helped me to get closer to God. And you know I can't preach to anyone and tell them what that feels like. They have to experience that themselves, but it's one of the best feelings ever. And it's just like, just really sitting and analyzing your life and realizing just how much you actually have and how blessed you truly are, just to have the things that you do and the things that you do not. Like, they could be on their way if it's something that you really really want, and it's in your heart and it's pure, you know then it's acquirable, shall I say. Like, you can have it, just as long as you know that you are doing it for good purpose and that God will get the glory. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it's been on my mind today, since I've been having my little prayer with him and thanking him for all the stuff that he's done for me. And sometimes you just need to just lift your head up and say thank you. You don't have to ask him for anything, just say thank you. Thank you for keeping you safe. Thank you for giving you what was needed. Thank you for allowing you to eat today. Thank you for allowing you to have a wash and brush your teeth and do your hair. Thank you for making you walk. Just thank him for all the little things, because being thankful is just one of the things that you can actually do to show your appreciation. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Ciao.